Hey everyone, to everyone or anyone who's watching, this is just a short explainer video as to my recent lack of uploads or activity on YouTube, and I apologise for the noise. I'm in the car at the moment, so this video is not even going to be edited. It's going to be uploaded to YouTube raw and uncut. So the last few days, actually the last couple of weeks now, yeah, it's been about 2 weeks where I've not been able to do as much video work or video production as I want to, especially not with working on my car, because quite frankly it is constantly pissing wet outside and I've got no undercover or indoor workspace or workshop area to work on my car. You know, that's just one of the things. British winter, just like British summer, except it's about 20 degrees colder and constantly wet, and there are leaves everywhere, like leaves fucking everywhere. They are just clogging up everything. So what I have got planned, I've ordered a few parts for the car to replace and work on and fix. Obviously there's the airbox, it still needs cutting. I'm still running that stock air filter, believe it or not. It's running fine. Obviously the only downside is if I'm sitting in traffic, I can't tell I'm sitting in traffic because because it seems to get heat soaked really easily, or it's just pulling in the hot air from around it, so it's a bit sluggish at low speed, but once you get going it's not too bad. So yeah, I've got the airbox to chop and put back in. Other than that, I've got to replace the brakes at some point because these brakes are squeaky as hell. I'm fairly certain that whoever changed the brakes last, A, did not swap out the discs when they replaced the pads, and I think the discs are grooved and worn, and B, they didn't use proper pads with the dampening clips on the back of them. So on these particular brakes, you can use cheap pads that don't have any sort of a damper attached to them, but if you spend the extra 5 or 10 quid, then you can have a little dampening plate that sits on the back of the pad that just stops all vibration. So yeah, I need to replace pads and discs at the front. The handbrake is pretty much non-existent, so that needs doing as well, although I only found out last night that the ABS equipped vehicles have a different rear braking system to non-ABS for some reason. It's a 2-part drum as opposed to just a single solid iron drum, so that's going to be interesting. According to the service and repair manual, it's a lot easier to remove, but we'll find out when I get to it. On top of that, I'm looking for some new wheels as well, because this thing is still rocking steels with plastic hubcaps, which is not ideal. No one likes that. It's not a good look. Not to mention some numpties gone and sprayed the hubcaps black and not even done a proper job of it. They basically sprayed it from one angle. You can see that there are silver edges on parts of it. So yeah, props to you, dumb shit. Other than that, I definitely need to do some suspension work on this thing as well. A lot of the bushes at the front are a bit wallowy, so yeah, there's some creaks and squeaks coming from places that generally can be repaired by replacing the bushes. I might well, if I can, go with Polyflex or polyurethane, the Powerflex bushes. Although for these cars, the only way to do that as a complete kit as such, there are no complete kits. You have to use parts from other cars, namely Vauxhall Astras or Opel Cadets for those from the continent. So yeah, looking for some wheels, but I found a nice set in the area earlier that were fairly cheap, and I was going to arrange to go and pick them up, and then in the description, very small print at the end of the description, it said, oh yeah, one of the wheels are damaged. So I flicked back through all the pictures, and the last image that was attached, this was on eBay, an eBay listing, one of the wheels has got a massive flat spot on it where it looks like someone has just driven into a cliff with the wheel attached to a car. So yeah, not ideal, not going to fuck with that. And yeah, so hopefully before long, or at least around the time that I do the brakes, I can swap out the wheels as well with something a bit better than steel wheels. Other than that, exhaust wise, I still haven't actually got the back box off, and again, this down to the rain and not finding the bloody time or space to do it is really annoying now, because it's getting progressively louder and more annoying the more like pieces of rust are falling out of it. As far as I can tell, when you shake the back box, the entire inside, all of the baffles in there are no longer attached to anything. They don't do anything, so it's a great big rattling mess from the outside. Luckily you can't hear the rattling inside, but there's enough exhaust noise coming in here of the wrong sorts to annoy me just that little bit. I'm probably going to go with just having a side exit because it's easy, and it means I can get rid of the center silencer. So the back box I've got, or the muffler, is going to move to the middle of the car, and then it's going to side exit on the passenger side or the left side, just in front of the rear wheel. Which will play nicely in preparation for some other plans I've got, which involves some more parts from a Subaru, actually, namely a turbocharger. Yeah. I don't know when that's going to happen. Again, this is sort of once I've got space to work and once I've actually got a second car, a proper daily driver, because at the moment this is my project car as well as my daily driver, which is annoying as piss, because every time I want to do some work on it, I have to be able to leave it in a state at the end of the day to be able to use it the next day or even the same day, which, you know, is not always possible or ideal, especially if you're doing parts that involve taking a, you know, say like taking an exhaust off. You might spend the whole day getting an old one off due to rust, and then not be able to get the next one on till the next day. So yeah, any work that currently spans more than one day, I can't physically cater to, which is really annoying. Move over. I also need to replace the speakers. They are shite, basically. One of the rear speakers are blown completely. It's just rattling inside the housing back there, which is really annoying. So when I had to fade the music to the front, so I'm just using the dual speakers, because with that rear speaker rumbling and rattling, you literally cannot hear anything, and it's also annoying. Whoops, nearly took a wrong turn there. I know where I am, but I just wasn't thinking. Added like half an hour to my journey. That's not ideal. I don't want to be doing that now, not at 2 o'clock. So yeah, new speakers. I'm not going to bother with subwoofer and all that shit like I used to when I was younger. I used to love a subwoofer, but there's just no need. I don't have the space in the boot for it, and you know, with this MP3 playing head unit stereo that I've got in here now, all I really want is some decent speakers that don't rattle. Simple as that. So yeah, that just about covers plans for the car. Yeah. Did I mention? Oh, I want to put some lowering springs on it as well, but that's a by the by. I mean, that's going to happen as and when it happens. I'm not too fussed about that happening. It's not something that's really needing to happen at the moment, because I think the suspension on this car is so old and decrepit. It's like it's got a natural drop to it anyway. It's not sitting at standard height, and I think that's purely down to the fact that the springs are old and worn, and they've just had enough of keeping the car up. So yeah, it'll get lowered as and when I get round to it. apart from the car, obviously I've been working on some other stuff, like be it music production, video editing, game development, if anyone's been following that side of things. Again, these are things that I've not even touched on in the last 2 weeks at all. Generally, my day-to-day, or actually my week-to-week process is a good mix of working on the car, doing actual work in the AV world, doing something with music, doing something with game development, or even just gaming. I'm a big fan of 7 Days to Die, the zombie slaying game, which is good fun. But yeah, so that's just a little catch up of what I've got planned, and also why I've not been uploading much recently. And yeah, that's it for now. Hopefully my next video will be something a bit more entertaining, or something a bit more productive, on my part at least anyway. Just having spoken about replacing the brakes on this thing, not to mention the squeak, they are grinding as well, so I really have a feeling that whoever put the brake pads in put them in back to front, because there's something not right here. But you know, there's only one way to find out, and that's take them off, open them up, see what's going on inside. But as you know, that's not going to happen for a while. I mean, all going well, it'll happen next week, but I'll make no guarantees, purely because the weather has a mind of its own, and this road is so noisy and everything's rattling. Alright, well, I've babbled enough for now. I've got to get on and do stuff. Yeah, check me out on on Rumble. That's RUMBL, the Rumble app. I do try to post daily short updates on there as well. Otherwise, follow me on Instagram. Every now and then I post what I've been up to in the daytime, or if I've taken any deliveries, especially for the car. I do tend to post them up there. And what else? Yeah, that's it. I'll catch up soon. Bye.